By the 1990s, Nintendo's lovable red plumber was already becoming a more recognizable character than Mickey Mouse. So, respectively, in the late 90s and early to late 2000s, Mario merchandise was booming and still has been to this day. These waves of merchandise spawned the creation of things like lunch pails, wind-up toys, plush toys, and even Mario and Yoshi music centers. And yes, that is a real thing. But that's besides the point. The candy branded to the Mario label has spawned lots of nostalgic candies that many of us remember, and one specific set of these candies that you've probably seen at your local supermarket at one time or another is the Mario Mushroom Candy Sours. You know, the red, green, and blue ones. What you might not know is that aside from the regular green and red variations, for a certain amount of time, a special blue tin containing blue raspberry flavored variations of your not-so-favorite candies came to the showcase. So, today on the first episode of Merchandise Mess-Ups, we're going to be talking about the forgotten Blue Raspberry Mushroom Sours. On May 15th, 2006, a new franchise was born, one currently spanning 3 consoles and 2 handhelds, with many active players still to this day. That's right, I'm talking about New Super Mario Bros., the game with way too many entries that just doesn't want to die. Anyhow, New Super Mario Bros. Was a quote-unquote HD retake on the classic video game released in 1985, with new power-ups and levels to tackle in a whole new fashion, on the go. There's one section of merchandise we want to target today, and that's the candy. Sometime around 2008, a whole 2 years after the game's initial release, the company known as Boston America began the production of the Mushroom Sours in 3 variants: Apple, Cherry, and the now long discontinued Blue Raspberry. Now to begin the search. Why exactly were these candies discontinued, with the Apple and Cherry variants still being produced today? One hint may lie in the packaging of the display regarding the products. In the display crate that included the Blue Mushroom, more formally known as the Mini Mushroom, the clear marketing standpoint was directed towards the new Super Mario Bros. Game, the first to include the Mini Mushroom in its blue form. The only previous appearances of the mushroom were in Mario Party 4 and Mario Pinball Land, where they each took the look of a pink mushroom with a sucker in its mouth. Taking a look at the new display crate of the candies, however, the candies are clearly marketed towards being the standpoint of the entirety of the Super Mario franchise, not just a single game. With the blue mini mushrooms being not as prominent in the Super Mario series as the green 1-up and red power-up mushrooms, Nintendo could have easily cut them from the candy lineup without many people, with the exception of me, obviously, noticing. We need evidence to prove this, because until we can see exactly why they were discontinued, it's just an assumption. My first idea was to contact some employees working at the candy marketing team at Boston America. So, I shot them an email at their customer service line, and while waiting for their response, I looked for any news articles regarding the discontinuation of the product, or any info about when exactly they were discontinued. I couldn't find much, and then I realized something. There isn't a set date as to when the candies were discontinued. Using the Wayback Machine, you can see on their website that they had the same image on their website for a very long time, including the blue raspberry candies. However, if you read the description, it clearly states that only 2 flavors are being distributed: Cherry and Apple. After July 8th, 2010, only Cherry and Apple are being created, but if you go earlier, you will see that the description including the Blue Raspberry Sours disappears somewhere between February 24th, 2010 entry and March 27th, 2010 capture. This means that we have a basis for when exactly the candies were discontinued, in between February 24th and March 27th of 2010. After finding this out, I took one last search around Google. The only interesting thing I could find was an article about Nintendo candy from a website known as Candy Addict. The website credited the green container as being lemon lime flavored. I just shook this off as a simple misconception, however, because all the other sites I took a look at mentioned it as Apple. Less than a day later, I got an email back from the customer service team saying, quote, "I honestly do not have an exact date when the blue mushrooms were discontinued, but the reason behind it is that they simply did not sell as well as the other flavors. Retailers called us repeatedly, letting us know that the red sold out fastest, then the green, and they were always being left with unsold blue mushrooms. So, to try to meet our customers' needs, we discontinued the item." Case in point, the discontinuation of the item wasn't due to the fact that the marketing standpoint changed, it was due to the fact that they weren't selling well enough to keep up with the pace of the market. It's hard to stand up to 2 of the most iconic symbols in the entirety of Mario, but this little guy tried, ultimately making itself fall into obscurity. We may very well never see these candies again, at least not in their former appearance. Boston America recently made a new updated version of the candies in the form of bullet bills. There's probably no way to tell if they're exactly the same, but it will be worth looking into. Well, that was essentially all I had to say about the blue raspberry mushroom sours from Boston, America. They were simply an undersold item that disappeared from the market in just 2 short years. Thanks for watching.